Michael, dude, I'm pretty excited for this one. It's been a long time since we had a James Bond game.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
IO Interactive hopes its young James Bond will star in a big 007 trilogy. Tom Ivan over at BGC. IO Interactive hopes its upcoming James Bond game can be the first entry in a trilogy. The Hitman Studio announced Project 007 via a short CGI trailer in November 2020. Dude, I see them to this day still hiring people for this game. We'll talk about that in a second. It confirmed at the time that the game would feature a wholly original Bond story, but it hasn't revealed much about the project over the last few years. Absolutely nothing. Quote, so it's not a gamification of a movie, end quote, said the CEO. They told IGN in a new interview. Quote, it's completely beginning and becoming a story, hopefully, for a big trilogy out there in the future. And equally important and exciting, it's a new Bond. It's a Bond we built from ground up for gamers. It's extremely exciting with all the traditional and all the history there together to work on this together with the family of creating a young Bond for gamers. A Bond that gamers can call their own and grow with, end quote. Really, Abrak said, IO views the lack of Bond games in recent years as a strength because the brand hasn't been overexposed. Which is, dude, that's fair. No. Very fair, right? Mm-hmm. And citing that the high regard players still have for the rare 1997 classic GoldenEye. Dude, I grew up on that game. That was a staple in my gaming library. There was nothing to go for us before about sitting there split screen trying to take each other out. One of the most enjoyable, memorable experiences of my gaming history. He said the studio hopes to make a lasting impact with his Bond game too. Quote, I don't want to speak too big about it, but I just hope we'll do a thing that will define James Bond in gaming for years to come. And that is not only one game, but that we create a universe for gamers to own for many years to come that we can grow with the next to the Bond on the movies. Cool. End quote. Right. Abrak also said players shouldn't have to wait too long to hear more about the game. Quote, the production's going amazingly well and we will soon be talking more about it. I know it was a little teaser, not a lot of information, but there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. We are very excited, and when we are ready with that, we'll be opening it up. End quote. How about at the Game Awards, Michael?
Would be a great time, especially if he says news is around the corner, so maybe keep your eyes open for that. This is going to be an interesting one to me, right? As we talked about, we really haven't had a James Bond game since GoldenEye, which is heralded as one of the greatest games ever, especially when you talk about split-screen gaming for an FPS game, if you will. Not quite the same genre, but that's what everyone remembers, right? Is that split-screen, multiplayer, PvP, absolute blast. So, curious to see if maybe this game comes out, people say this isn't the GoldenEye, or if they say, man, I love this game because I had those fond memories, like you said, for GoldenEye. I'm a little concerned, though, Drew, not to be the pessimist today, that they're already forcing a trilogy, right? Focus on making one good game, right? That's what I think. Like, okay, we're going to get one game. We're on to the next one, right? This game's good or bad, we're not going to update it. We're not going to give a follow-up of the story. We already have another one planned. That is the one thing. And multiple times you mentioned the CEO said, trilogy, universe. Just give me one good game to start, right? Focus on one good game. I'm worried the production's going to be like, well, we don't want to put everything on the table because we got to leave one for James Bond 2, and then we got to leave one for James Bond 3. And maybe these games feel a little bit empty. So that's my one big concern. I want to be hyped, but I feel like every time we've heard of a studio saying, yeah, we've got a whole trilogy planned, we don't ever see game 3. We barely see game 2 because there's just so much content that we're saving, and the games feel empty. But I'm excited for this. I want it to be good. But right now, I hope we're focusing on one game, not a trilogy.
I am a little curious of what the future holds for this. Are we getting a multiplayer experience? Is it going straight single player only?
I have to have multiplayer, I think. Or it's not James Bond. For gamers, at least. That's
fair. Here's the problem though, IO. They're a single player studio, right? The Hitman is a single player experience. They tried actually with Hitman 2. I would believe it was 2, to bring in a multiplayer. So you actually went off in a ghost. So it was you and another player, but the other player was a ghost. You guys were in the same world trying to take out the target. Who's the one that was able to take out the target more efficiently than the other person? Cool mode didn't last. They actually ended up taking it out of the game because nobody played it, dude. It was just whatever. James Bond, a little bit different, obviously, when it comes to playing up against Hitman, but I'm hoping they take all those learnings from Hitman and bring it into the James Bond universe. How can we take a player, ping them against a target, take out that target in a unique way, which is always the highlight when it comes to playing Hitman, right? Dude, you can make them slip on a banana peel. You can poison them. You can drop stuff on them, right? You can push them over a cliff. There's so many opportunities for just chaotic moments to take out your target. How much of that influences the James Bond trilogy, or the first game at least, right? And then when do we get it? Dude, that's what I said. I still see posts, hey, we're hiring. You're still hiring for this game? Seriously? Really? Like, how far out are we then? We still got another 3 years of development? Michael, when do you think we see it?
2026, I think, will be the date we get at the trailer, right? No way you put it in 2025. It's just way too busy unless this game's like secretly already done. So 2026, and all of a sudden, we're hitting my red flag zone, Drew. 2020, the trailer dropped, 6 years of production. Not good history so far right now, Drew, with games that have had that mark. But 2026, I think you're right. Game Awards is when I'm expecting this trailer to drop.